New this morning, non-alcoholic beer company Athletic Brewing announcing it's raised a $50 million equity financing round led by General Atlantic. And joining us now, coincidentally, his name is Bill Shufelt, and I asked you that question right away, founder and CEO of Athletic Brewing. And I asked you initially, is everyone a friend of Bill W? And by that, I mean someone that really would get in trouble if they had any alcohol. And some are, I would imagine, but many are not people that are drinking non-athletic beer for that reason, non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, I think, actually, in general, I think the word sober is somewhat outdated in many ways, where I think people are just super busy, modern adults. We all have phones in our hands. We want to feel a little bit better. We want to be a little more alert. People tend to drink like one day a week, one day a month, but there's a lot of occasions outside of that. And a delicious beer goes great with a lot of different parts of life. So
you're here to talk about a nice fundraising round. Let's get that out of the way, and then we'll talk about some of the implications, because I have a lot of thoughts.
For sure, yeah.
So what happened?
So we announced a big investment. We increased our West Coast production capacity and announced that a couple weeks ago. But kind of in conjunction with this, we're welcoming General Atlantic to our cap table. $50 million equity financing to the company, and they'll ultimately invest significantly beyond that in the round. But on anyone, if you ask anyone in the financial world, a short list of globally respected investors, General Atlantic's usually in the top 3, and so we're super excited to have them on board. And just their perspective and advisory on like scalable, disruptive companies is just such an honor to be having their investment.
Where's your valuation go to with this round?
Yeah, well, we're a private company, and we don't tend to talk about valuation. I can say that our revenue has more than doubled since our Series D about 18 months ago, and it was publicly disclosed at that time that our valuation was about $400 million. So.
I mean, you went from 855 cases to hundreds of thousands of cases per year. You're in IPA, you're one of the 10 largest brewers, and it's non-alcoholic, right?
Yeah, so yeah, we sold well over 3 million cases last year, or over 100 million cans. Did over 90 million in revenue last year as a company, and are growing well beyond that this year. We're a top 20 brewer overall, top 10 in craft beer out of over 10,000 craft brewers. From one of the smallest just a few years ago.
Bill, so I'm drinking it, and it's good, and it tastes like beer. Am I going to feel like I'm starting to think maybe that there's some type of placebo effect. Is there not, or is there's not, right? I mean, you really aren't, there's no alcohol, so it's impossible that you're feeling anything.
Well, I think what you are feeling is the placebo effect. People have been drinking for 5,000 years, holding beer in their hands when they are socializing, when they're relaxing, when they're unwinding from their day. It signifies I'm with friends, I'm having a great meal. And very little that actually has a lot to do with the alcohol. And that was kind of a key insight for me. And as I was doing survey work for Athletic Brewing, as you know, I was in the financial world previously. And when I started to share the germ of this idea with people, people were just like, that makes sense. I would drink that all the time. I'm sick of alcohol, or like, I would like to be drinking a lot more, but alcohol holds back the occasions.
Why is the time right now for non-alcoholic beer, as opposed to in the past where you had like an O'Doul's, which sort of just
was not, because it tasted like swamp water.
Okay, well that's one reason.
That was because I was going to say it. On The Simpsons, they would have the non-alcoholic in the convenience store. And the guy would walk back, and it would be a false front. No one ever opened the door before. It would be a place to go where you go into the back of the store, because no one ever checked to buy any of the non-alcoholic beer.
But I think people are mentally, they want alternatives as opposed to before. And
he said it was high performance. So you're working out at 6 in the morning. If you go out with your like in the financial business and you have 5 or 6 beers, you're not feeling good at 6 in the morning to work out, are you?
Yeah, I mean, I was up listening to your show and at the desk at 6 a.m. for 12 years and out to 3 or 4 work dinners a week. And in the beginning of that career, it was, steak dinners, boozy, drenched dinners, and I would feel terrible. And I saw a real shift in the 10 years I was in finance to like people being really excited instead to do like Soul Cycles or Barry's boot camps and hit the day running. I think a big part of our reinvention is it's both product and marketing. So our co-founder, John Walker, is an extremely talented and highly awarded brewer who had won every...
Johnny Walker?
Yeah, which was one of those like universal signs that was so obvious, like it should have hit me over the head that he's the right guy. But he is so talented, and so are so many of our teammates. And another big differentiator is, which this investment's going to, is we've invested over $100 million in our manufacturing, which is really differentiated quality that this segment had never seen before.
It's amazing. And I ask you, I like play golf, okay, something like that, hot. So that I do like to drink like a Corona or something, and I like, there is a little bit of a feeling. I could drink one, but if I hang out, I could switch to this, couldn't I? So that I don't get, so I'm not like driving after 3 or 4 beers. You could drink one alcoholic beer and switch to this, couldn't you? Because I just realized I'm drinking this. I'm like Brett Kavanaugh. I like beer. Remember when he said, I like beer, even though it's
almost not. Like anything you're doing in your day-to-day life, like we've got a beer for that occasion. And what you're doing now, like that afternoon beer on a stressful day, like I drink an IPA at like 4 in the afternoon.
Non-alcoholic.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Or golf courses crush it for us, where people may have had 1 beer during the round, they may have 5, and it's super refreshing. They can get in the car after, they can go meet their kids at the pool. And
right.
Yeah, there's not that like line in the sand.
Takes away all the bad quality, because there's plenty. And then the one other thing I'll mention, earlier this week, it used to be maybe 1 glass of red wine is good for you. Now they're starting to think that alcohol is just in general. It could be 1 glass, could be 5. It's never really great for you because your liver's dealing and your brain and everything else. And when you get older, it gets much more difficult to process the alcohol, I think.
Yeah, so I think whatever people's views are on health and alcohol, the world is stressful. I don't want to take away people's alcohol. But like 10 years ago, there were no options. If you weren't drinking and you were at a work dinner,
you're like drinking a seltzer water, yeah.
Like, so we just want to have great options. And I think it's all about occasion growth, where maybe the occasion base for alcohol is shrinking, but we want to build that back up, welcome a lot of new people into the beer world, and give people great beer they can drink 7 nights a week and feel really good about it.
It's amazing. Yeah, I like it, and it's good. But was it really bad? The previous intro of alcohol, of non-alcoholic beer, was it crappy beer? Was it swamp? Was it bad?
It's so
was
rare.
It? I mean, because
you like walk around a grocery store.
I never had one.
It was when I stopped drinking 10 years ago. It was so weird to see a part of the grocery store that had seen absolutely no evolution in 30 years, yeah. And it was like. It's like athletic brewing is such a simple concept, just hiding in plain sight. And yeah, just trying to be really positive about it.